Blair Brown, senior producer on Jedi Survivor.
I'm Jeff Majors, a design director on Jedi Survivor, and the demo you're playing today takes place about an hour into the game on the planet of Kobo. For Jedi Survivor, we wanted to greatly expand the exploration. We wanted to add a lot of optional content for the player to explore. And to do this, we did a couple things. So we wanted to add much richer exploration rewards for exploring. So we put a big focus on our customization system. In this game, there's a much richer customization system for both Cal, BD, your lightsaber. You can change the materials on the lightsaber. You can change the materials on BD. Cal has hairstyles, facial hair, all sorts of different things you can find as rewards for exploration. On top of that, we also have gameplay rewards for customization, more gameplay rewards for customization. On top of upgrading your health and your force meter and your heal stems, now you can also find skill points that feed back into the skill tree, as well as our new system, which is the perk system, where you can find these slottable perks, gameplay upgrades, to customize your playstyle for Cal. All that stuff gives richer exploration for the player because we wanted to reward the player for following a thread off the main path.
So you land on Kobo, you're introduced to the Bedlam Raiders, which is this new enemy faction. We have the Empire, which is pretty set as to what those troopers are and how they act, like Flame Trooper, Rocket Trooper, etc. With the Bedlam Raiders, it gave us an opportunity to really expand on melee combat enemies for Cal, which is we're a melee-based game, so it gave a lot more of that back and forth and parrying and blocking. Something that's also interesting that you may be noticing in the demo is Separatist droids are showing us, so B1s, B2s, commando droids. I'm not going to explain how they got there, why they got there, but it was a fun, working in the Star Wars IP gives you those opportunities to be like, somebody was like, oh, what if we got B1s into this game? Okay, well, how would that make sense narratively? Then you're working with writing and Lucasfilm to tie all that together, and it gave us those fun little B1 droids that have a lot of chit-chat and gave us new combat opportunities and completely changed the encounters.
I wonder if I'll get promoted for doing such a good job.
We are returning the single blade stance as well as the double bladed stance, kind of the Darth Maul looking one. Those were both in Fallen Order, as well as the dual stance kind of special moves were in Fallen Order as well. But for this game, we wanted to expand that and make it a full-fledged combat stance on par with the other two. And the other two, we've also taken a look at every move, upgraded it, rebalanced it, made it all feel better. On top of those three, we have two new stances, Blaster Stance and Crossguard Stance. Blaster Stances helps you with range, and Crossguard hits really hard. So between those five, players can load out two at a time.
But at any point, you can go to a meditation point or one of the workbenches and swap and choose between the two different ones. And you can also respec your skill points. So if you're like, oh, I'm not really feeling twin anymore, I really want to get into staff and Crossguard, you can just swap it out.
What's really cool about that is that they can completely customize their playstyle. Depending on which two you have equipped, you're going to want to approach a combat encounter differently. You'll see different enemies that have strengths and weaknesses against these different stances. That being said, there's no lock and key enemies in the game where you need to do a certain stance to get past them. You could pick one stance if it's your favorite stance, if that's your jam. You can use it from start to finish. It just gives players different options to play the way they want to. And for replayability, playing with a different stance completely changes the game, and you kind of discover a new layer to the combat system that maybe you didn't notice with a different stance. On Kobo in particular, there's the Neko mount, which is our version of a horse or kind of tauntaun. Like, it's a two-legged creature that you can ride that helps you explore the more expansive level that Kobo is. With that, it also comes with its own lock and key abilities too. You can use this Neko mount to reach higher areas because you can jump with this mount and then jump again to launch off of it and get much higher.
As you already played now, the Relter, which is the kind of glider bird, same thing, gets you into new places you probably couldn't have, or just makes retraversal through an area faster because you can skip over a mountain. For the demo, you were probably a bit more on rails just because we're teaching you the mechanic. We want you to go through a straight line so you learn it. Once you get into the greater Kobo area and it starts to open up, you're way more free to use the mounts however you want.
The Neko is definitely going to be your main freeform one, though, and it really helps you traverse the wide open spaces. That's another thing we did to help our exploration. Along with fast travel, the mounts give us the ability to traverse wider spaces. Now, this game is not an open world game. There's areas of wider exploration and still kind of that traditional Fallen Order style level as well.
Might not be a bad call. Didi swore one of those beasts gave him some side-eye.
So this is our rumor system. We don't actually have like a traditional questing system in most games with a checklist of I got to go here and it'll only spawn if I talk to Bob and then I can go do the thing. The rumors are just a way for us to point players at things that already exist, like the Rancor Cave that you found. You can find that if you just explore, or you go back to the cantina and you talk to the prospector. They might point you in that direction. So it's just another way for us to be like, hey, you should go check that out, for maybe the more narrative-driven people.
Yeah, it's a way to kind of make exploration, or encourage more types of players to do exploration. Some players will open the map and try to do every single thing that they can before doing the main path, and that's totally awesome and supported. But some players want to, have a more narrative-driven experience and might be more focused on the main objective. But this way, maybe when you're talking to an NPC, you get a hint about something interesting down the way, and you'll want to follow that thread and see what's there.
The rumors will lead you to a multitude of things, like a lot of the different side content. It could be one of the Jedi chambers, or it could be a recruit for the cantina that may unlock side content things. So like or the Rancor Cave is another example. So it could lead you to some puzzles, some traversal, really cool loot, a boss fight.
In Fallen Order, we had Zeppo tombs, which were big main path puzzles. We still have puzzles on the main path for Jedi Survivor. In order to add more puzzling gameplay for people that want to opt into that, we added these Jedi chambers. So they're optional for players. It's another kind of reward and type of content you can find off the beaten path. It's a way for us to have difficult puzzles that players can or cannot enjoy depending on what they like to do. Once you do all the chambers, and if there's a reward, we want players to explore and find that themselves. That's called a Force Tear, and it's another type of content that you can find. Again, you could stumble upon a boss, you could stumble upon a Jedi chamber, or a traversal challenge like the one you found there. I want players to feel right when they pick up the controller is an evolved Jedi. Cal has been through some stuff off screen for 5 years, and he's grown as a Jedi. He's more sure of himself. He's a Jedi Knight now. He's not a Padawan. So we tried to reflect that in the controls on the stick. We took a look at every traversal mechanic and just the way he feels, and to try to make it more responsive.
What I'm proud about is just the work that the team put in, and the size, scope, and quality of the game they've made in the last 3 years it's very humbling to be a part of, and I still have fun playing this, and I've played it maybe more than anybody else, like over and over the last 3 years, and I'm still finding new things, and I'm still finding new ways to play it in different things, or I'll change my loadout or my stances, and I'm like, well, this feels like a completely different game. So I'm just really excited for people to experience that too. I think fun is the best way I could describe it. I'm still having fun, and I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun.
There's so many things we'd love to tell people about.
Yeah.
We just really want people to explore and find them on their own. There's surprises around all the corners.
Empire. I don't think they saw us. Let's move.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor releases on April 28th on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC.